Are there modern-day Romans walking among us? The answer isn't a simple yes or no. The very question challenges us to consider what it means to be Roman. Is it a matter of bloodlines, a direct genetic link to the citizens of a vanished empire? Or is it something more elusive, a cultural inheritance woven into the fabric of societies across the globe? The search for present-day Romans leads us down a fascinating path, from the bustling streets of modern Rome to the far reaches of an empire that once spanned continents. Who can truly claim the mantle of Rome? The answer may surprise you. Read on to uncover the complex and intriguing legacy of the Roman people. Rome wasn't just powerful, its longevity was unparalleled. Unlike the fleeting brilliance of Alexander's Macedonian Empire, which fragmented upon his death, or the vast but comparatively short-lived Mongol horde under Genghis Khan, Rome's dominion stretched across millennia. From its mythical founding by Romulus and Remus in 753 BC, a story steeped in legend and fratricide, to the final, mournful fall of Constantinople, the last flickering ember of the Eastern Roman Empire in 1453, a D-Rome left an enduring legacy. The skeletal remains of its grandeur, the enduring roads that once connected a vast empire, the ingenious aqueducts that quenched the thirst of sprawling cities, the crumbling villas that housed the elite, and the awe-inspiring amphitheaters that hosted spectacles of both brutality and artistry. These are scattered across a vast geographical tapestry, whispering tales of a civilization lost to time. From the windswept, blustery cliffs of Hadrian's Wall in Britain, marking the northernmost frontier of Roman ambition, to the sun-baked sands of Egypt, where Cleopatra once reigned and Roman legions later stood guard, the indelible fingerprints of Rome remain. Rome's influence transcended mere physical structures. Its language, Latin, the root of many modern European languages, became the language of law, scholarship, and the church. Roman law, with its emphasis on justice and codified principles, provided the bedrock for legal systems across the globe. Its intricate and sophisticated political systems, from the Republic to the Empire, influenced the development of governance for centuries to come. Even today, nations invoke the legacy of Rome, each vying to claim the mantle of its true successor, a testament to the enduring power of its image and ideals. But a crucial question lingers, a riddle shrouded in the mists of time. Who are the true heirs of the Roman people? Where did the descendants of the once mighty populace, the proud Quirites, citizens who held the right to vote and participate in government, and the dignified matrons who held considerable influence within their families and society, vanish to? Did they simply dissolve into the swirling currents of migration and conquest that followed the empire's decline? Can any modern population legitimately claim a direct, unbroken lineage to these ancient figures, these architects of a world-spanning empire? The heart of the Roman Empire, its vibrant core, was Italy. Rome, the eternal city, remains the capital of the modern Italian state, a tangible, breathing connection to a glorious past. The Forum, the Colosseum, the Pantheon, these are not just tourist attractions. They are physical remnants of a civilization that shaped the Western world. But can we definitively say that modern Italians are the direct descendants of their ancient Roman forebears? The answer, like the history of Rome itself, is complex and layered. To unravel this intricate puzzle, we must first understand the diverse and ever-evolving tapestry of the Roman population itself. Roman identity was not a static, monolithic entity. It was forged in the fiery crucible of integration, a dynamic fusion of various tribes, cultures, and ethnicities. The Latins, the original inhabitants of the region around Rome, the Sabines, their neighbors to the northeast, known for their strong martial traditions, and the Etruscans, a mysterious and sophisticated civilization from north-central Italy, whose influence on early Roman art, religion, and architecture was profound, formed the initial core, inhabiting the 7 hills of Rome and its surrounding territories. Adding to this already vibrant mix were Greek colonists from southern Italy, Magna Graecia, who established thriving city-states and engaged in active trade and cultural exchange with the nascent Roman state. Other Italic tribes, such as the Samnites, Umbrians, and Oscans, populated the Italian peninsula, each contributing to the evolving Roman identity. And to the north, beyond the Alps, loomed the ever-present threat of the Gauls, Celtic warriors whose incursions repeatedly tested the resilience and adaptability of Rome in its formative centuries, culminating in the sack of Rome in 390 B.C., a traumatic event etched into Roman memory. As the Roman state, driven by ambition and a remarkable talent for military organization and political strategy, expanded its dominion across the Italian peninsula and beyond, a gradual but relentless process of assimilation began. Conquered peoples, initially subjugated, were gradually integrated into the Roman system. Within a century of Rome's consolidation of power in Italy, many of these diverse groups were granted Roman citizenship, transforming them, in the eyes of the law, into Romans themselves. This pragmatic policy of integration, a cornerstone of Roman statecraft, proved to be a key element in the empire's remarkable expansion, transforming potential enemies into stakeholders, invested in the continued success and stability of the Roman state. This process created a powerful unifying force, binding diverse populations together under the banner of Roman citizenship. Further complicating this already intricate demographic picture is the significant influx of slaves from every corner of the vast Roman world. From the frigid shores of the Baltic to the scorching deserts of Africa and the Middle East, individuals were forcibly uprooted from their homelands and brought to Rome in chains, a tragic consequence of Roman conquest and expansion. While the life of a slave toiling on a latifundia, a large agricultural estate owned by wealthy Roman families, was often brutal, short, and devoid of hope, the experience of urban slaves was markedly different. Ancient sources, such as inscriptions and literary texts, suggest that urban slaves, often employed in skilled trades or domestic service, could reasonably anticipate manumission, the granting of freedom, after a period of 6 to 7 years. While freedmen, those who had earned their freedom, retained certain social and economic obligations to their former masters, they were nonetheless free to pursue their own lives, establish families, and, crucially, their children were granted full Roman citizenship. This meant that descendants of Germans, Syrians, Egyptians, Britons, and countless other nationalities became, over generations, indistinguishable from other Romans, their diverse ancestry absorbed into the ever-expanding melting pot of Roman identity. Despite this constant influx of diverse populations and the fluidity of Roman citizenship, a recognizable Roman physical type, or at least an idealized representation of one, emerges from the surviving historical record. Statues, busts, and frescoes, particularly those depicting members of the elite, often portray men with prominent Roman noses, strong jaws, and patrician profiles, suggesting an image of authority and gravitas. Women are frequently depicted with rounded faces, elegant hairstyles, and serene expressions. These artistic representations, while undoubtedly idealized and reflecting contemporary notions of beauty and status, nonetheless reveal distinct features that differentiate them from even their ancient Greek contemporaries, with whom they shared a complex relationship of both admiration and rivalry, and certainly from the more generalized modern Mediterranean type. The fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476, a diaseismic event that marked the end of an era, ushered in a period of profound upheaval and transformation across Europe. Italy, once the heart of a vast empire, became a fragmented and contested land, a battleground for migrating tribes, the Visigoths, who sacked Rome in 410 AD. The Huns, led by the fearsome Attila, the Lombards, who established a kingdom in northern Italy, the Burgundians, and the Franks, who eventually established a dominant presence in Western Europe. Each of these migrating groups left their genetic imprint on the Italian peninsula, contributing to the complex genetic tapestry of the region. The result is a modern Italian population whose genetic makeup reflects centuries of admixture, making a direct, unadulterated link to the ancient Romans, complex, multifaceted, and ultimately diluted. What about the Eastern Roman Empire, centered in the magnificent city of Constantinople, a city strategically located at the crossroads of Europe and Asia? Could they, the inheritors of the eastern half of the Roman world, be considered the true descendants of the Roman legacy? Many prominent Roman families, fleeing the chaos and instability of the collapsing Western Roman Empire, relocated to Constantinople, seeking refuge and continuity in the eastern capital. However, the existing population of Byzantium, as the Eastern Roman Empire was also known, was already substantial, cosmopolitan, and extraordinarily diverse, encompassing not only Greeks, who formed the dominant cultural and linguistic group, but a multitude of other ethnicities from the Balkans, Eastern Europe, and the Middle East. The relatively small number of Roman immigrants, while undoubtedly influential in the political, cultural, and intellectual life of the Eastern Empire, were ultimately absorbed into this larger, pre-existing demographic, making their specific genetic contribution relatively minor in the overall Byzantine population. Romanians, the inhabitants of modern Romania, also assert a historical and cultural connection to ancient Rome, a connection rooted in language and historical presence. During the Roman era, the territory of modern Romania comprised the provinces of Dacia and Moesia, regions conquered and incorporated into the Roman Empire. The indigenous population Dacians, a Thracian people known for their fierce resistance to Roman conquest, Geta, another Thracian tribe, and other South Slavic groups underwent a significant process of Romanization, intermingling with Roman colonists, adopting the Latin language, which evolved into modern Romanian and embracing Roman customs and administrative practices. However, the ancestry of modern Romanians, like that of most European populations, is a complex and interwoven tapestry of various groups, including Wallachians and other Balkan populations, with the Roman contribution, while significant culturally and linguistically, representing a smaller fraction of their overall genetic heritage. Intriguingly, scientists conducting genetic studies have identified a higher concentration of genetic markers specifically associated with ancient Romans in the modern populations of Spain and Portugal, a finding that sheds light on the complex patterns of migration and settlement in the Roman world. This is not entirely surprising, given the long history of Roman presence in the Iberian Peninsula, where some of the oldest and most established Roman colonies were located. The indigenous populations of the Iberian Peninsula, while diverse, were comparatively smaller than in other parts of the Roman Empire, and over centuries of cohabitation, intermarriage, and cultural exchange, they gradually merged with the Roman settlers, resulting in a more pronounced and detectable Roman genetic legacy in these regions. In conclusion, the quest to pinpoint a single modern population as the direct, unadulterated descendants of the ancient Romans is an elusive, perhaps even impossible, endeavor. The very concept of Roman identity was fluid, dynamic, and ever-evolving, shaped by centuries of conquest, assimilation, cultural exchange, and the constant influx of new populations into the Roman world. While the genetic legacy of the ancient Romans is undoubtedly diffused across numerous populations, particularly in those regions that once fell within the vast boundaries of the Roman Empire, especially in Europe, no single group can legitimately claim an exclusive or unadulterated lineage. Perhaps the truest heirs of Rome are not defined by narrow notions of bloodlines or genetic markers, but by the enduring and pervasive influence of Roman culture, law, language, and political thought, which continue to shape our world today, resonating through the corridors of time. The ghost of Rome, therefore, walks among us, not in the specific features of any one population, but in the very foundations of Western civilization itself, a testament to the enduring power and influence of a civilization that once seemed destined to last forever.